Now we are going to create our cover. You will need 2 pieces of chipboard that measure 6 by 8 and 1 piece of chipboard that measures 2 3/4 by 8. Now originally I was going to do like a wraparound cover, but then I changed my mind on how I was going to decorate the cover, and the way I want to decorate it now is with like a polymer clay cover, which means that the wraparound won't really work. So I've switched it up, and we're just going to use 3 pieces, and I'll do a wraparound cover on another tutorial. Okay, so your 3 pieces of chipboard, 2 at 6 by 8 and 1 at 2 3/4 by 8. And then you will need 3 pieces of cardstock to wrap the cover in. So the two pieces that will wrap the main part of the cover will be 7.5 by 9.5. And then the one for the spine is 4 1/4 by 9.5. Okay, so what we're going to do is adhere the chipboard onto the cardstock. So I've already got some score tape on the back of my chipboard. You can use wet adhesive if you would prefer. So now I'm just going to take the score tape off and adhere them onto my cardstock. Alright, so just center it down. Do the same with the other 2 pieces. Wow, can you hear my tummy gurgling? I need to make myself some food first. It's making a lot of noise. Okay, awesome. Now we are going to put some score tape all the way around the edge of the chipboard, so on the cardstock all the way around, and then we're going to wrap the covers. Alright, now we want to kind of miter the corners here because we want these sides and to all be able to move independently. So I tend to go like we do a pocket, so in at an angle and out at an angle. And leave a tiny bit of space between the chipboard and the cardstock itself, and that way you won't get like a little pokey bit of the cardstock showing. We are going to wrap them in Tyvek, so it's not the biggest deal, but it's just a good practice to get into. And these don't have to be perfect because we are going to wrap the edges in Tyvek, so alright, so now kind of take your pieces and just kind of like fold them over, just training telling the cardstock where you want it to go. Tell it who's boss. And then remove the backing and just kind of fold it over like that. Give it a little rub with your bone folder. Okay, if you have any parts that are really poking out, kind of push them in with your scissors, round them out a little bit just so they're not so sharp. Okay, and then do the same with the other two pieces, and then we will put them together with the Tyvek and then add our pages to the cover. And it doesn't really matter which way, if you do the sides first or the top and bottom first, whichever way you prefer. I usually poke in these sides with the scissors beforehand, but I mean you can do it afterwards as well. Okay, Tommy, I hear you. Does anyone else do that when they're crafting? They're just like, they're like, just one more thing. Or let's just finish this one last thing and then I'll go eat, or then I'll go do whatever. I'm definitely like that. Just want to get things to like a specific state of completion before I stop, you know? Okay, so now that they're at that stage, we need a couple long strips of Tyvek. So I've just taken an envelope, so it would have been folded like that. So I cut strips of the envelope like this and then just open them up so you have a nice long piece. And now I've got score tape all over the back of this. I'm going to remove the score tape backing, and then we're going to kind of wrap the cover pieces, wrap the Tyvek around the cover pieces. So set it on your table sticky side up, and one of your covers is going to go almost to the center of the Tyvek, and then you're going to put your spine piece here, and you want to have a good, oh, it's a little bit crooked, oh no, oh, I don't know if I can get it back up. You want to have a good space in between. I'm talking like 1/4 of an inch of space. Maybe it doesn't have to be a 1/4 inch, but a good amount of space so that when the book folds like that, it has lots of room. So it needs to be at least a little bit more, whatever your thickness of chipboard is, make it just a little bit bigger than that. Okay, and if you have any extra Tyvek, just cut it off like that. Okay, and then we're going to do the other side. is the spine piece. Oh, everything's moving. Spine piece down, and then the other cover piece. Okay, and there you go. There is your cover, and we'll do some a closure, probably a ribbon closure again for this one, because that's what I did for the last one. I'm kind of make them cohesive. So now we can put our pages in. So you can do that first, or you can decorate the front and back covers first. Completely your choice. Why don't we... How did I do it last time? I'm just trying to think how I did it last time to try and do it the same way. We're going to cover these two spots with cardstock and make them like 5 7/8 by 7 7/8. Okay, I don't think I can ignore my tummy rumbling anymore, so I'm gonna go make some food, and when I come back, we will do the front and back covers. Alright, so we just finished creating our cover. We've got our cardstock on the insides. Now we are going to do the elements for the inside covers. So this is on the front inside cover. We've got an E piece there. And then these are 2 B pieces that have been modified with the 1/2-inch sections cut off. Okay, so that is going to go right there. Okay, so we're going to grab 2 B's and 1 E piece. So the E piece, I have it, I don't remember what we scored this one at. I have this one at 2 inches and 6 7/8, I believe. So hopefully that was the measurements that I gave you in the beginning. If it was not, then you can use, I know there was one that was similar to this. I do have another one here that is like 2 inches and 7 and a bit, and they kind of meet in the center, so that is also, you can use that one as well. But on the prototype that I showed you, they do overlap a little bit. So take one of the E's if you haven't already and score it at 2 and 6 7/8, and that's that one. For the 2 B pieces, we are going to cut off the 1/2-inch, the 2 side 1/2-inch sections. So for one of the B pieces, we've just cut off the 2 side 1/2-inch sections that had score tape. And then on the other B piece, we're going to cut off 1 side and the bottom. Okay? So I know we are doing some modifications to these pieces, but we are on our, was it 15th page design using the same 5 pieces. So in order to make every single page design completely different, we do need to have some modifications. There's only so many things that you can do with the pieces exactly as they are, so you have to do slight modifications. So hopefully everyone is all good with that. If you need to know the measurements of these exactly. We've got one of the C pieces is now, I believe it's so 6.5 by 5.5, and the one where we cut the bottom and one of the sides, that one is now 6 by 6. It should be 6. Yeah, so 6 by 6 square. Okay, so the 6 by 6 square piece is going to go pretty much in the center, like centered up and down, like centered top to bottom, right on the front inside cover here, just like that. The other B piece is going to be attached to the right hand side of that first one. Okay, and then we are going to like glue this. Well, you can do it one of two ways. You can use a hinge at the top of this and have it so that it flips up, or you could glue it all the way down. So completely up to you. I had it on the prototype, I had it that it was going to be completely glued down, but I mean, just for giggles, we could use a hinge. I just want you to realize that there's so many different things that we can do. But let's do a hinge just for fun. I might have to recut a couple pieces of paper, but that's all right. Creating on the fly. Okay, let's. That's a really weird. Okay, let's put some score tape on this hinge. And give it a fold, and miter the ends, and attach one part to the back of the E at the top. And then the other half will go down onto the top B piece. I might actually put my pattern paper down. Well, yeah, I'm going to put my pattern paper down first. Let me just quickly figure out what it was that I had for that. I think it was orange. Okay, I'm going to go with that and hope that that was right. So I'm going to put that down first. Before I put that down, actually, I'm gonna probably want a magnet on the closing this E down now that I have a hinge. So I'm gonna quickly just put a magnet there before I put that paper down. So somewhere around there. I think on the version 1 I put the pages into the album first and then did the front and back covers, but it's really a total personal preference, however you want to do it. So I'm just kind of lining it up but not adhering it, because I just want to get that magnet in place. So hopefully that's about where I want it. Okay, now I'm going to put this piece of paper on. Okay, and now that I have that magnet there, it's going to kind of know where to go. Yeah, I was tiny bit off, but that's all right. I'm okay with it. All right, so that's that. And I'm also going to have, one magnet from the first bee to the second bee, and then another from the back of the bee to the base. Again, you don't have to have all of these magnets. I'm a big fan of the magnets, so I do tend to use a lot of them, but completely up to you. Awesome. All right, fantastic. So now we can put the rest of our pieces on. I think I'm gonna have another metal swing tab here, just to kind of make it cohesive with our first page. So I'm gonna figure out my pattern paper and I'll be right back. Okay, so I was just about to punch my hole for my metal swing tab here. So I've already marked where I would like it. Just gonna punch my hole, make sure that you don't have any paper on the opposite side of this. You know this now, we've done this a few times. And my brad. I did put a single magnet right here because I knew this metal piece would magnetize to it, so just a little extra. I feel like I maybe should have done that on the other one. It seems to be staying okay though on this page 1. It seems to be doing all right. Okay, so put some score tape over the tines, and then I've got a purple piece that is going to go here. Oh. Okay, so that is that. And then under here, oh, I don't have a piece of paper for here yet. Bum ba da bum. Let's do some blue. Yep. Sure, why not? I mean, this paper has basically every color in it, so you can kind of do any color and it'll look great. So 4, 5/8 by. Okay, so I'll put this one on, and then the blue one. I do have a piece of purple ribbon acting as like a ribbon pull right here, just to say that that does something. I did quite a few ribbon pulls in the first version of this album, if you want to check that out. No, it's down there. Bummer. I've got it a little bit too far over. Oh, that's alright. I feel like I'm so excited to get to the next project that I'm like forgetting the little tiny things. My mind is already thinking about the next project, which is going to be a big Christmas album, and I'm super excited about it, and I think my brain just keeps like going to like thoughts on page designs for that and stuff. Okay, so let's go through the whole page. So we've got our swing tab here, and then when you open it up, we've got that. When you lift this up, we've got the blue and the orangey red. This opens to the side, and then it also lifts up. Oh, and I don't have any thing for here yet. We'll do that blue. Now we can put these on. These are officially our last little pieces for this page, and then we'll do the back cover. I'm all discombobulated, as my grandma would say. Alright, there we go. That's pretty. I like it. Okay, so that is the inside front cover. Now let's do the back cover. So we've got 2 E-pieces scored in half, and that's it. That's what was left, and so that's what I went with. So super simple on the last one. If you have any elements that are left, feel free to add them in any way you so desire. But I'm just going with that. So 2 E-pieces, which means we need 2 hinges. Okay, so am I gonna have... Oh, I have just enough on this one to make 2 hinges. Perfect. Meant to be. Alright, so I'm going to put some score tape on these. Crease and a little trim, and now we can put these onto the folded end of each of our E-pieces. A little crooked. Let's try to fix that. There we go. Perfection. Okay, and now they both go centered top to bottom on one on the right, one on the left. Feel free to measure if you so desire. I'm just going to eyeball it. Okay, and then the other one. Try and make sure they're lined up on the same plane. Okay, and then we're going to close one E And then I think I'm gonna do magnets, so just make sure they're lined up really well. So I'm gonna do a magnet here, and then I'll do one for these pieces as well. So I'm going to do that alternative way just in case I decide not to put pattern paper on every single bit. So put one here. Single magnet. Let it find its buddy. Buddy up. And find, or put square tape on this one. I have no idea why I just said that. And, oh, come on, stay. There we go. Okay. And then might do the same over here. So and then let it find its buddy. Okay. And then one last time. So that way these two are going to stay blank, and then we just have pattern paper on the rest of the pieces, just to give it a little bit more space just for photos. So no, we don't want any bulk to get created. When I really started getting into making these albums, my first few were really simple, and then I got more and more and more elaborate, and then discovered like pop-ups and started incorporating those and layer upon layer, and then I had to really start thinking about things like that, about making sure that I had enough space just for photos, so it didn't get too chunky, and making sure that things would close once all the photos were in the album and stuff. Now you don't need to use all of these magnets. I'm just I'm wanting each layer to not flap up, but you certainly do not need to. I just like the click the magnet. So don't feel like you have to put all of those on. Alright, and there's not that much pattern paper, so maybe I'll just put it all on with you. So I've got this for the background. And yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go with the reds on the inside. Just to cover up those half-inch sections there. And because it doesn't quite match the other red on the front of the corresponding page, so I don't want when they're right beside each other, the difference in reds looks too obvious, but if it's kind of hidden, then it's okay. But see, this is kind of what I just think it looks weird. So we'll put it on the inside, and then no one is the wiser. Well, no, all of you are the wiser, but you know what I mean. Okay, and then we're gonna go yellow. Yellow again. Okay, and then blue. Awesome, and the last one. Now you can have ribbon pulls or some kind of like embellishment to show that these all open. I might add some kind of metal embellishment afterwards that just pokes out ever so slightly. Haven't decided quite yet, but I might do something. Now we can, just gonna tuck this in because we're gonna add our pages now. Okay, so now I've got some score tape on the back of the pages. You can put a piece of black paper down, but you don't really need to because this is going to cover anywhere that has what do you call it, chipboard. But maybe that, you know what, for neatness, let's put one down. Okay, so let's put that on there. Let's make sure it's a perfect fit first. It is. Okay, so let's put this down. And now we can remove the score tape backing from our binding part and add a little bit of wet adhesive. This one's got a bit more Zuri fur than normal. Jeez. Okay, and then very carefully put this onto your spine. Now be careful that it is right side up and page 1 is at the front, and try to get it as straight as possible. My head might get in the way because I want to get right over top of it. I managed to, my pages are not quite even, I realize now, which is a bummer. But see, I've got this one, and then this second page rises up a little bit above the first, so they're not as even as I would like them, but they're all right. And so now they're in there. Our next move is to, I always like to cut or punch holes in between the pages. I've got a little bit of pattern paper in between the pages, and I like to punch a hole and put a brad in there. Not absolutely necessary, but I always do it as an extra bit of, you know, security so that your pages will never leave where they are. The Crop-A-Dile will just make it in there, so it is a bit of a stretch, but I'll do that on both the top and the bottom of each page. Okay, and then just put a brad through that hole. Open the tines on the back. And then we're going to do the same thing in between these pages. Alright, so I didn't realize that my camera had unexpectedly turned off. I don't know how much I missed, so I'm just going to recap a couple of the last things that I did. So the pages are in. I used my Crop-A-Dile to punch holes at the top and the bottom of in between the pages, so the tines come out on the back, and I covered those with some score tape. And then I added a little bit of colored cardstock into the front and the back spaces there. And yeah, now we are at the point where we just have to make our, decorate our cover. So the back and the spine, I think I'm just going to have regular pattern paper. On the cover, I am going to try something that I have never tried before. It's going to be a combination of techniques. I'm thinking of doing stenciling onto polymer clay and then putting alcohol ink in through the stencil, and then adding mica powders, and then doing swirly corners with clay, and then maybe a buckle closure. So I think this is my plan right now, so tune in part 6, and that's when I will be making the cover. That will be coming very, very soon, and by then I'll have it figured out. Okay, love you guys. Bye.